Breaking news from the stadium tonight as an anonymous fan foot the bill for 55,000 hot dogs, bringing that sweet tubed meat to everyone in attendance.
Free dogs! Yeah!
55,000 hot dogs? What does that even cost?
While the identity of this Frankfurter philanthropist remains anonymous, their all-beefy generosity will go down in history.
The new Mega Millions. More to win means more to give. How you spend it is up to you.
Yeah!
For game odds and details, visit SCEducationLottery.com.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have supervision, enhanced hearing, extraordinary reflexes, to be, dare we say, superhuman? Well, Roku's new Pro Series TV can't do any of that for you. But with a 4K screen, side-firing speakers, and a blazing fast refresh rate, it'll sure feel like it. Elevate your entertainment using all your favorite apps like iHeart and play all your music, radio, and podcasts with the new Roku Pro Series. Your senses aren't better. Your TV is.
Okay, real talk. We're all kind of hooked on our phones. It's full of shiny apps designed to keep your attention captive forever. But there's real-life stuff to do other than scrolling, and I'm here to help. I'm Christina Quinn, the host of Try This, a podcast from The Washington Post. The show explores solutions for life's common problems. And this season, we're learning to tame the dopamine beast and reclaim our attention in this noisy and distracting world. So let's tame the beast together. Find Try This from The Washington Post wherever you listen.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And also YouTube right now. We still have the live stream going. Let's talk about some movies. Of course, we had Mark Ronner give his Ronner Report review of Sinners, and also Twala Sharp jumped in, gave his review. I hope to see it tomorrow. I've been trying to avoid as many spoilers as possible, but I've heard 99% good things, and I desperately wanted to weigh in on the movie and its release of Easter weekend to add my thoughts. I just couldn't get around to it. There was too much going on, but I plan to see it tomorrow. And I want to juxtapose its religious overtones in a movie, which are nowhere there, with my religion and see what I may be able to glean from the movie or other messages within it. It was the #1 movie in America. No surprise there. It brought in $48 million domestically, another $15 million internationally. For $63 million, it's listed as a $90 million budget, and it's estimated, from what I've seen in the New York Times, another $60 million in marketing and promotion. So we're looking at $150 million for it to break even. This is also what I know about the movie. It's probably going to grow in theaters. It's only in, when I say it's only, just 3,300 theaters. And it doesn't surprise me because, one, it's a mostly black cast. Let's be honest. It's not going to play in Idaho. It's just not. And also, it's a horror movie. It's R. So that limits the amount of places that it's going to play as well. But there will be some theaters which will most likely add it this weekend, which should give it some more legs. And it's doing decent internationally. You don't necessarily see that for a horror movie the first week. So Sinners, it'll be interesting to see what it does in week 2, whether it adds theaters and whether there is a significant drop-off. But as far as critics and Rotten Tomatoes audience meter, it's still like 98%. Doing well. And tomorrow I'll give my thoughts about it, assuming I can get to the movie theater.
I promise you this, the hype surrounding this film, the reviews surrounding this film, the overwhelming praise surrounding this film, none of it, absolutely none of it is hyperbole. Not a single bit.
This is what I will say. We talk about how supposedly audiences are tired of sequels. They're tired of reboots. They want original stories. And for most of the year, in recent years, people had not been supporting these new stories, like a Mickey 17 or a Novocaine, what have you. But I believe they just weren't good movies. And I believe that if you give them something new, fresh, inventive, there is an appetite for that, no pun intended, that people will want to go out and see it. And if you tell good stories, people will go see it.
Absolutely.
I don't think that is revelatory in any way. And Sinners is a completely new concept from what I've heard. You know, it doesn't seem reminiscent of this or that. It's a completely a story which is completely unto itself.
Yeah.
Number 2 is a Minecraft movie. Has your son seen this yet, Twella?
Yes, he has.
How many times?
Only once, and they had a ball in the theater. They had a ball.
Did they act out in any way?
They did. They according to him, they acted out at the appropriate times, at the times when you're supposed to while out in the theater. Yes, but he said they had a ball watching the movie. It's packed. He said they loved it.
It brought in $40 million this week domestically. It's up to almost $750 million. $750 million. Yeah, I think it's going to get there, and it still has more than 4,000 theaters. And that's what I always try to point out to people. It's not just how many people go to see the movie, but how available is it for people to see the movie. If you have to hunt to find a movie theater, well, that limits not only your options, but it limits the likelihood of you seeing it. If it's not in every theater, well, that means I might have to drive further. I might have less time on a given day to go see it. I may not want to change my schedule to see a movie. But if it's everywhere, like a Minecraft movie, still in more than 4,000 theaters, yeah, you may have a higher chance of seeing that movie. Number 3 this week was The King of Kings, 17 million. This is their second week for a grand total of 49 million.
Makes sense. Easter weekend.
Of course. The Amateur, still want to see that as well. This is its second week. It brought in 7 million this week for a total of 63 million. And I don't see how Mark gets to see all these movies and I don't. It just makes me angry.
Well, it's a bit of a hassle, to tell you the truth.
The Amateur, the budget on that. No, it had to be more than, 60 million. Okay, 60 million. So it's made its money back. Let's say it's 100 million, 90 million after marketing promotion. It'll make that eventually.
It's a solid, fun movie.
That's all I want. Not everything has to be great. Just be solid. Just be entertaining and enjoyable relative to what you're offering. You know, if I'm going to see an action adventure, just be good at that. It doesn't have to be all things to me. Number 5 this week is Warfare from A24. It's a small studio, but they do good movies.
That's an Alex Garland movie. I'm dying to see that as well.
Did he do Civil War as well?
Uh-huh.
Okay, there we go. Number 5 is Drop. I don't know what that is.
That's the one about the blind date with the texting from the kidnappers.
Oh, yeah. Number 7 is Colorful Stage, a movie, a Miku Who Can't Sing. It's a kid's movie, I assume.
That's the whole title?
That's the whole title. The whole title? The whole title.
Wow.
Number 8, Pride and Prejudice, 20th anniversary re-release. Number 9, The Chosen, Last Supper Part 3. And number 10, Snow White.
Still hanging around.
Well, it's not for long. It's 194 million worldwide, and it only brought in 1.2 million this week. So it will leave the top 10 this next week. But A Working Man, much to its chagrin, fell out of the top 10. It has a total of 35 million domestic, but 51 million international. Jason Statham does better internationally. And it has a box office worldwide of 87 million.
Well, violence is the international language.
That's true. That's true.
I wonder what the budget on that one was.
Well, let's look it up real quick. Yeah. A Working Man. A Working Man. Budget. Oh, my gosh. The movie. Come on, Chat BT. 40 million. Surprisingly enough. Only 40 million.
Okay.
Now, I have a question for Tawala. Without spoiling Sinners for anybody, I looked up a lot of information on the movie over the weekend, and Twitter is going nuts for Haley Steinfeld. What's your take on that?
Going nuts in what way? Loving her?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a polite way to say it, yeah.
Yeah. No. Deservedly so. This was a standout performance for her. I don't believe anyone thought she had it in her, and I believe that she proved otherwise. I thought this performance was stellar. I only know her from the Hawkeye series, and I thought she was fine in that. I thought she plays a great Kate Bishop. But this film here, I said, whoa, wait a minute now. Okay, you're grown.
Yeah, that was kind of the gist of the messages.
Yes. Grown.
Yeah, because I think of her as not a child, but just very young.
You'll watch this and you'll say, is that you? Is that you, Holly?
Uh-huh.
Girl, wait a minute. Wait a minute now.
Last time I saw you this high.
You all done growed up here.
Okay. All right. I'll give my review tomorrow. It's later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640 and YouTube.
Hello, iHeart listener. We have a confession to make. Both iHeart and this commercial you're listening to right now would probably sound a heck of a lot better on the new Roku Pro Series TV. It's got side-firing speakers that fill your room with sound, Dolby Atmos audio that puts you right in the middle of the entertainment, and the ability to pair seamlessly with your home theater sound systems that already have surround sound and booming bass. If all that sounds too good to be true, it'll sound even better on the new Roku Pro Series. Your hearing isn't better, your TV is.
I'm Molly Roberts.
And I'm Drew Goins. Each Friday on Impromptu, we talk through the questions we can't stop thinking about.
Do we need to rethink how much we drink?
Why are companies really asking workers to come back to the office?
Does boycotting a business actually work?
Should we quit social media?
We're here when the news gets personal and the headlines hit home.
Join Molly and me every Friday on Impromptu from Washington Post Opinions.
Find Impromptu wherever you get your podcasts.
Deciding on what to listen to is hard. Using Zumo to stream music from iHeart 90s radio is easy. Or play iHeart Country or Hip Hop Beats. Your choice, all for free. Stream easy with Zumo Play. Get live and on-demand entertainment with no logins, no signups, no accounts, no hassle. This April, binge these classics. The Whole 9 Yards starring Bruce Willis and Matthew Perry. Adaptation with Nicolas Cage and Meryl Streep. And The Fisher King with Robin Williams. All streaming free on Zumo Play. Go to play.zumo.com now. Life is hard. Zumo is easy.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Mo Kelly, YouTube, live everywhere. And we love all things Star Wars. No, let me take that back. We loved past tense all things Star Wars back in the day. The newer stuff, with the exception of maybe The Mandalorian and Andor and Ahsoka. That's about it.
Hey, but, you don't like The Bad Batch? You didn't like that?
That was okay. It's not like something I just had to rush to see. I watched them all, but it wasn't like, oh gosh, I'm engrossed. Mandalorian, when you had the episodes, Filoni would do, Favreau, Carl Weathers. It was some great Star Wars set pieces.
Yeah.
They did the universe justice. But speaking of The Mandalorian, next year, The Mandalorian will have a tailored Disney ride experience for the first time. And it's going to start May 22nd. 2026 next year. And that also coincides with the same day the film, The Mandalorian and Grogu, obviously based on the Mandalorian series, will be released. And from what I understand, Disney Resorts Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run ride will feature a storyline based on the characters.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's a big tie-in to debut the new Mandalorian Grogu addition to the Smuggler's Run ride. And I believe they're supposed to have a animatronic of the Mandalorian because they have some life-size animatronics in there. So they're supposed to have a life-size animatronic as well as some specifically filmed additions from Pedro Pascal, who plays the Mandalorian, Din Djarin. So I think that's going to take it to another level.
I hope so, because it has all the elements to be something great. What I mean by that is a movie I assume people will really, really be interested in, because The Mandalorian, as far as Disney Plus universe, has really popped. Yeah. And you've seen some crossover with other properties within the Disney Plus universe, like Ahsoka, like the pamphlet of Boba Fett, we won't really refer to. But I would say the best Star Wars Disney series. It's had 3 seasons, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay. And
all around, yes.
Yeah. We'll see what Andor does in season 2, getting ready to come up. But you can see how Disney has this plan where we're going to use everything. We're going to use every title. We're going to use every bit of intellectual property and also mainline that into our theme parks.
And the good thing about the Mandalorian and Grogu is that it is still created and controlled by people who love the franchise, people who love Star Wars. And that is what is most important, because from all indications, the trailer, which we should be getting to see soon at the Star Wars celebration in Japan, the trailer had the crowd absolutely blown away. And that is a very, very critical audience there at Star Wars Fan Fest. It's like, if they're not feeling it, you'll know right away, because they will not keep it to themselves. And so for everyone to saying like, this is what we expected from the movie, it is, and this is what's most important, because a lot of people felt that final episode in season 3 ended on such a happy note that they thought we were going to get happiness and joy and all that in Mandalorian and Grogu. It's like, no. This film from first look is leaning into some of the darker elements of that storyline.
Well, they still have to explain what happens to Grogu in the larger timeline, since he was not there for the Skywalker saga. Yes, they integrated Luke Skywalker into the story of Grogu, but we don't know what happened to him as a force wielder within the Star Wars universe.
From my understanding, it's not a happy.
It can't be. It can't be. If you really know Star Wars, you know why it can't be.
Yeah.
Because the subsequent movies make it impossible. I don't want to say too much, but you have to see that on your own. Star Wars is going to have to earn my trust back, because after the last trilogy, I don't have any burning desire to see more Star Wars movies. Now, I can watch Disney Plus shows, but actually going to the theater and sitting down and watching a Star Wars movie, no, they're going to have to show me something.
I mean, I don't know, man. For me, Star Wars, I'm one of those Star Wars hopefuls. I'm one of those individuals that like the very essence of what Star Wars stands for, hope. I keep hope alive that we're going to get something good. So I will be back when they drop Starfighter, starring Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, when is that
even though that's 2027.
Okay.
Yeah, 2027. Even though I may not be a big Ryan Gosling fan, I know that if it's a Star Wars movie, he's featured in an ensemble, and I'm down to see that. I love everything that's nerdy. So, I mean, we're going to be in the theaters anyway, but we act like we're not going to go see it.
Look, I don't have to go see it. I mean, I'm not rushing.
You will be held hostage. I will be getting the tickets, and we won't go.
I just won't show up.
He's going to feed you some pickle juice at the theater, too.
Okay.
Hey, Sam the Sex Doctor, can you turn off his mic for good?
Sam the Sex Doctor? Is this his name?
That's formal name going now. Why do we call you Sam the Sex Doctor?
Because I'm getting my PhD in human sexuality.
Thank you very much. Sam the Sex Doctor. Call him Dr. Ruth.
Yes.
I'll take it.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're going to talk more Hollywood when we come back and show you the difference why Hollywood and its various unions do a hell of a lot better and are much more formidable than the music unions. Is there a music union? I don't think there is.
Nah.
That's part of the reason. So. We'll talk about that in just a moment.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And before I get to my final thoughts in the next segment, had a quick little update with Hollywood more generally. And let me back up. I was arguing with people, as I'm known to do, online on Threads. And I got into this argument with someone who was trying to say, hey, have you seen all the protests this past weekend regarding anti-Trump protests, which were going on, I think, in Huntington Beach and other places? I was aware of them, but I wasn't following them. And he was saying, isn't that a great thing? I said, I'm not moved by protests which are going nowhere. I mean, you're wasting social capital. If it's not for an explicit goal in the moment, you probably won't be able to get those same type of people to activate again, and you won't be able to sustain the momentum. I've said that about every wandering, aimless protest. And I use the example of the civil rights movement, but check this out, Twala. I want to relate it to what the entertainment industry is doing right now. You have about 100,000 different letters of support, which are being sent by members of the entertainment industry. They're sent to California lawmakers ahead of some very important hearings on expanded film and TV tax credit proposal. In other words, you're mobilizing and you're utilizing your social capital at a moment in which it can pass specific legislation which could benefit you. That's exactly what I mean by if you're going to activating the masses, do it for a particular reason going towards a specific goal. More than 100,000 letters have been sent to Sacramento in support of SB630 and AB1138, which would not only allocate $750 million annually in tax incentives for production in the state, but also redefine and broaden eligibility for the program. The initiative was led by the Entertainment Union Coalition as part of its Keep California Rolling campaign, and they've been lobbying for the passage of these two bills. The letters urge key members of the Senate's Revenue and Taxation Committee, as well as the Assembly Arts, Entertainment, Sports, and Tourism Committee to vote the bills out of committee this week in order to put workers one step closer to being able to continue to contribute and work where they live. We know that a lot of business in California has been going out of state to different states, television production, movie production. But if you're going to get 100,000 people to do something for you, is it better they stand on the corner and hold a sign, or they do something which is going to move you closer to the passage of a law or some sort of bill which you benefit?
See, this is what we always talk about when we say no one cares about your awareness. Because making people aware of something, that gets you nothing. I drive by, see, oh, hey, I'm aware that you were out there protesting. Okay.
I'm aware you're mad.
I get that, and hashtag whatever your cause may be. But none of those causes go towards an actual bill, anything that's going in front of either the mayor's office, the governor's office, or the president's desk. Nothing. You're just out there we want you to know we're mad. Okay, good luck with that. This is actually saying, hey, we need everyone to sign this letter. We've drafted the letter.
Right.
All you can do is print it, put your name on it, send it in. Here's the address. Here's the deadline. Get this in by this date, because why? We want to get this thing to pass. So we can do what? Bring jobs back, keep jobs in, keep California rolling with our number one export, films. Yes, this makes sense.
Yes, if you're going to activate 100,000 people, this is why. This is how. This is when. It's not just let's go protest every Saturday so we can be seen and get on the news. And yeah, I know it makes you feel good. I know that you may want to feel some sort of camaraderie, that it's good to see thousands of other people out there feeling the same way as you, but it doesn't propel the issue. It doesn't get you anywhere specifically. It doesn't forward your interest. And if the best thing you can do is, hey, we got to let people know. We got to let people know that we're angry. We have to be seen so people know that they're not alone. And that was actually said to me. People need to know that they're not alone. Well, if that's the best that you could drum up as a reason to get all the people together, you are wasting social capital, which is finite. You're not going to be able to get people to unite and do something every single weekend or successive weekends to do nothing in particular. What are they going to do at the next protest other than protest and hold a sign? And
hold up signs. Hold up signs and keep saying things like hands off California. Do you think that that's how things work in Washington? Do you think that it's like, oh, we were about to go right after California, but when we saw those angry protesters out there, we said, nah. Because that's not how laws, bills, actions, that's not how legislation gets drafted. Nothing happens by way of protest.
Did you know that the Trump administration has not made any acknowledgement of any of the protests?
Why would
they? To what end?
To acknowledge is to give power to. And that's one of those things where we are constantly acknowledging the things that they may do, giving them power. Okay, stop giving them the power. We're mad. We're mad as hell. We're not going to take it anymore. Meaning what? Meaning what? Look, I love y'all. I do.
You're going to create another sign? You're going to go out on another street corner?
Look, many of you went to work today, okay? Many of you may not admit it, but I'm sure you probably stopped by Starbucks or Target or Walmart. Some sure DEI, anti-DEI place on your way home to get groceries or whatever. Look, keep it real, okay? Keep it real. You're out there and it looks good for the camera and you've hashtagged But, you know, the Montgomery bus boycott was not a momentary hashtag.
It was more than a year.
Yeah.
More than a year. And, you know, there's been some movement with Target. I know we're jumping around, but there's some movement with Target where they're sitting down with, I think, Al Sharpton, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they are.
You know, they're committed to spend money on black businesses. And I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm just saying you have to keep it in its proper perspective. Target has not changed their policies. And you know, credit, because you've been boycotting Target the longest. And I said it has to be sustained. It has to be a long time. But even after, I don't know, 3-4 months, whatever length of time it is, Target has not changed their policies. You have to be willing to do it another 9-10 months. And maybe then Target will change its policies. But the next protest, the next boycott is not going to mean anything unless you're willing to commit to it from the long haul. This, talking about how Hollywood and these 100,000 letters, it's for a specific bill, actually 2 of them. And it's going to be beneficial to those who support the bill. This is how you do it. It has to be a clearly defined goal. You have to exhibit leverage. You have to make sure that you don't waste social capital, because they're probably not going to be able to get another 100,000 letters next week. So you got to make it count.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe there is a hands-off California bill that's actually going before the governor, and that all these protests, they're gathering hands-off California signatures to get signed and ratified by the governor. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe I don't know about that portion of it. I'm sorry. Maybe hit us in the chat. Maybe someone watching us live on YouTube can say, you're wrong. There is a hands-off California bill, and it right now is going before the Senate Judiciary. Maybe
it wasn't prominently featured in the protests. It wasn't necessarily prominently explained in the messaging and in the media appearances where people were getting interviewed. Why are you here? I'm mad. So if that's the case, they're missing their moment, because I'd like to think that I'm kind of aware of this stuff and I'm not aware of it. So I don't know how many times you'll be able to get people to just protest aimlessly. I don't know.
Is there a spokesperson?
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
I mean, I should know, but I'm saying I don't know of anyone, because it's not organized like that. It's a leaderless movement. And we all know leaderless movements fail. They always have. It's Later with Mo Kelly. My final thought when we come back. We're still live on YouTube, and just want to remind you, we're giving away tickets to Disney on Ice on Wednesday, but you're going to have to actually watch the YouTube stream to win. So you might as well subscribe now at Mr. Mo Kelly.
What are you looking for in a new smart TV? 4K picture quality, high quality and immersive sound, a sleek design? All of those are givens, but only the new Roku Pro series has all of those and the Roku streaming experience, an award-winning OS. Get fast, easy access to all your apps like iHeart, where you can stream all your favorite music, radio, and podcasts all day, and regular all-inclusive trips to Roku City. The new Roku Pro series, a smart TV built by the streaming pros.
There's an efficient way to get caught up on a lot of news. It's called The 7 from The Washington Post. It's a newsletter and podcast. Whether you're reading or hit play, you get 7 stories you need to know, and you can consume it all in just a few minutes. The 7 is out every weekday morning by 7 a.m. Eastern. I'm Hannah Jewell. I'm one of the writers, and I host the show. Find The 7 podcast wherever you're listening. The newsletter link is waiting for you in the show notes.
Deciding on what to listen to is hard. Using Zumo to stream music from iHeartRadio Radio is easy. Or play iHeart Country or Hip Hop Beats. Your choice, all for free. Stream easy with Zumo Play. Get live and on-demand entertainment with no logins, no signups, no accounts, no hassle. This April, binge these classics. The Whole 9 Yards starring Bruce Willis and Matthew Perry. Adaptation with Nicolas Cage and Meryl Streep. And The Fisher King with Robin Williams. All streaming free on Zumo Play. Go to play.zumo.com now. Life is hard. Zumo is easy.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Last week, I told you about how I believe in experts. I believe in education. I believe in training and expertise. And I believe that those who have education, training, and expertise are superior to those who lack all three within their respective disciplines. I'm talking about professionally. I'm not talking about as people. But call me crazy. I believe doctors are more knowledgeable on issues of medicine than people who only watch YouTube videos. Call me crazy, but I actually believe that. I believe actual pilots are more knowledgeable than, I don't know, those who simply play Microsoft Flight Simulator and other video games. And I believe economists know more about what's going on in the economy than people who only have a checking account. Call me elitist if you want, but that's how I roll. I prefer actual contractors and plumbers to guys who watch YouTube videos as well. Expertise matters. Your one DIY video is not equal to years in a trade school or decades in a profession. Can we agree on the simple stuff? I think that's pretty simple. So when I tell you that RFK Jr. is only trained as a lawyer and author, I'm telling you that his feelings, opinions, and proclamations on medical issues hold no water and less than a grain of salt. Presently, he's Secretary of Health and Human Services. He has zero experience as a physician, a health scientist, a virologist, immunologist, epidemiologist, podiatrist, dentist, chiropractor, veterinarian, apothecary, midwife, or even dental hygienist. Zero. He and I are exactly the same in that regard. But here's the difference, and it's a big one. Never in my wildest nightmares would I want me as the head of any such agency, nor would I try to imprint my socio-political health beliefs on the agency. I mention this because RFK Jr. pledged an answer to what he calls the autism epidemic, quote unquote, and he will have that answer by September. Not pledge a treatment for any specific portion of this quote unquote epidemic. Remember, autism, there's a spectrum here. It's just not one particular condition. But his word, epidemic. Just an answer to this. But to promise an answer is to presuppose we all agree on the same question. Again, substitute me for RFK Jr. and you should have an equal amount of faith, as in none. More recently, Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. in a new interview said autism was an epidemic with an impact that surpasses the COVID-19 pandemic. Believe that. Here are his words, quote, "This is an epidemic. It dwarfs the COVID epidemic and the impacts on our country because COVID killed old people. Autism affects children and affects them at the beginning of their lives, the beginning of their productivity, and it's absolutely debilitating for them, their families, their communities." Close quote. That's what Kennedy had to say on WABC 770 AM. I don't argue with unserious people. I don't need to deconstruct his theories. I'm just telling you what he had to say. Tawala Sharp, the producer of this show, works with children with autism every single day. Every single day. He has more experience on this subject than RFK Jr., and that's not open to debate among many people. Peter Marks, the former head of the FDA, stepped down last month because he didn't see eye to eye with Kennedy. The FDA, like the CDC, Medicare, Medicaid, all under HHS. There's a reason it's a crime to impersonate a physician or practice medicine without a license, because it is just that serious. People could die. And no, Kennedy isn't seeing patients or prescribing medicine, but he's literally responsible for the totality of the health and human services in this country. The whole country. Like I said last week, we've devalued competence like it is some sort of insult. And now the government apparatus of health and human services is chasing the conspiracy theory of vaccines and autism. This is like putting a flat earther in charge of NASA, a government agency, and that flat earther announcing he's going to get an answer to the shape of the planet. I know. You really like RFK Jr. because he says stuff you also believe. But neither of you is a physician, a virologist, immunologist, epidemiologist, scientist, all those real complicated jobs. Neither you nor RFK Jr. has conducted any peer review studies. Kennedy's starting with a conclusion and hoping to work his way backwards. I'm here to tell you, I'm not a scientist, but I do know that's not how the scientific method works. You mean you couldn't get at least a physician to run HHS? Not even a dentist? Not even a podiatrist? Would you want a Secretary of Defense with zero military experience? No, say that out loud. Because this is what that is like. Do we really think that little of Health and Human Services, the CDC, the FDA, the VA, etc., that any old person who believes the same conspiracy theories that you do can do the job? Question mark. I'm Ron Burgundy. As long as he believes vaccines cause autism, sign him up. That's where we are in America. I like my pilots highly trained. I like my air traffic controllers highly trained. Why? Because people might die. Why we don't apply that same type of leadership to a top agency like HHS, I don't know. Let me remind you as I close, 2 children have died in America thus far from measles, and 27 states, and I heard Mark Ronner say this, 27 states have recorded measles infections in this latest outbreak. 27 states. Why measles or bird flu is not at the top of the list of priorities and providing an answer for those issues, I can't tell you. Tomorrow, class, we're going to talk about the benefits of hiring a Secretary of Labor who has never had a job or worked a day in his or her life, and a Secretary of the VA who is anti-military. Because experience need not apply. For KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly.
The world mourns for Pope Francis, and the Vatican puts their plan into action to find a new Holy Father. KFI has the latest. And what happens next?
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Breaking news from the stadium tonight as an anonymous fan foot the bill for 55,000 hot dogs, bringing that sweet tubed meat to everyone in attendance.
Free dogs! Yeah!
55,000 hot dogs? What does that even cost?
While the identity of this Frankfurter philanthropist remains anonymous, their all-beefy generosity will go down in history.
The new Mega Millions. More to win means more to give. How you spend it is up to you.
Yeah!
For game odds and details, visit sceducationlottery.com.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have supervision, enhanced hearing, extraordinary reflexes, to be, dare we say, superhuman? Well, Roku's new Pro Series TV can't do any of that for you. But with a 4K screen, side-firing speakers, and a blazing fast refresh rate, it'll sure feel like it. Elevate your entertainment using all your favorite apps like iHeart and play all your music, radio, and podcasts with the new Roku Pro Series. Your senses aren't better. Your TV is.
There's an efficient way to get caught up on a lot of news. It's called The 7 from the Washington Post. It's a newsletter and podcast. Whether you're reading or hit play, you get 7 stories you need to know, and you can consume it all in just a few minutes. The 7 is out every weekday morning by 7 a.m. Eastern. I'm Hannah Jewell. I'm one of the writers, and I host the show. Find The 7 podcast wherever you're listening. The newsletter link is waiting for you in the show notes.